Imagine uncovering a mystery that has puzzled archaeologists for decades, involving ancient mummies buried in boats in the middle of a harsh desert. That's exactly what happened with the Tarim Basin mummies, found in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of northwest China. These mummies, dating back nearly 4,000 years, have finally revealed their secrets, challenging our understanding of ancient human migration and cultural exchange. Discovered in 1990, the Tarim Basin mummies were a sensational find. Their bodies and clothing were remarkably well preserved, thanks to the arid climate of the desert. The mummies' facial features and hair color were so clear that they appeared almost lifelike. What made the discovery even more intriguing was the way they were buried, in boat-shaped coffins covered with cowhides, a practice not typically seen in the region. Beside the mummies, researchers found artifacts that suggested a sophisticated farming society. Items such as wheat, barley, cheese, and livestock like sheep, goats, and cattle indicated that these people were not just nomads, but had settled and developed advanced agricultural techniques. But here's where it gets controversial. The mummy's tall stature, fair hair, and distinctive clothing, including wool felt hats and leather boots, initially led researchers to believe they were from a distant land. However, genetic studies on 13 well-preserved mummies revealed a surprising truth. These individuals were not migrants from the West, as previously thought, but locals with deep roots in the Tarim Basin. This finding overturned earlier theories that suggested the mummies were descendants of herders from the southern Russian Black Sea region, Central Asians, or early farmers from the Iranian plateau. A study published in the scientific journal Nature provided a detailed analysis of the mummies' genetic data. The researchers concluded that the mummies date back to between 2100 and 1700 BC. They belong to an ancient population that vanished from Eurasia after the last ice age, a group that shares genetic ties with the indigenous people of Siberia and the Americas. One of the most fascinating aspects of the discovery is the genetic similarity among the mummies, even those buried 400 kilometers apart. Despite the vast distance, the mummies' DNA was so closely related that it resembled a sibling relationship. This suggests a strong local community that remained relatively isolated genetically, but was not culturally isolated. By around 4,000 years ago, the people of the Tarim Basin were already adopting new ideas and technologies. They wore woven woolen clothing, built irrigation systems, cultivated non-native crops like wheat and millet, and herded animals, including goats and sheep. They even milked cattle to produce cheese, a practice that required advanced knowledge and skills. And this is the part most people miss. The burial practices of the Tarim Basin mummies, including the use of boat-shaped coffins and cattle hides, were unique to the region. While similar practices are often associated with Viking burials, the Tarim Basin people had their own distinct customs. This raises questions about the extent of cultural exchange and the influence of distant civilizations on this isolated community. Christina Warrener, a professor of anthropology at Harvard University and one of the study's authors, noted, "The mummies have long fascinated scientists and the public alike since their original discovery. Beyond their extraordinary preservation, they were found in a highly unusual context, and they exhibit diverse and far-flung cultural elements." Other researchers involved in the study confirmed that it was possible for a population to remain genetically isolated while still being influenced by other cultures. The team also analyzed genomes from 5 individuals from the Tarim Basin, located further north in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, to gain a broader understanding of the genetic landscape of the region. What does this mean for our understanding of ancient human history? The Tarim Basin mummies challenge the notion that cultural and technological advancements were solely the result of migration and conquest. Instead, they suggest that isolated communities could develop sophisticated societies and engage in meaningful cultural exchanges without significant external influence. So what do you think? Could there be other ancient communities with similar stories waiting to be discovered? Share your thoughts in the comments.